Put her in the seat next to me, 26A.
26A is unoccupied.
Next on Ebert and Roeper, Jodie Foster in Flightplan.
Ben Kingsley in Roman Polanski's Oliver Twist.
Scrap?
Johnny Depp stars in Tim Burton's Corpse Bride.
And a great family film is winning its struggle for survival, maybe.
And your friends?
They don't drink coffee. It doesn't agree with them. Joey.
It's Joey.
You are.
My name's Tom, sir.
Of course it is.
Ed Harris believes that Viggo Mortensen is hiding a history of violence. It's one of 6 movies on this week's show. I'm Richard Roeper.
And I'm Roger Ebert. As A History of Violence opens, Viggo Mortensen plays Tom Stahl, who runs a diner in a small town in Indiana, raises his family, is liked by his customers, and is a quiet and peaceable man until one day, 2 thugs walk into the diner and threaten the lives of customers and a waitress, and Tom explodes with sudden, stunning violence. He becomes a local hero, and the publicity brings Ed Harris as a mobster from Philadelphia who claims Tom Stahl once had another life. Tom tries to deny it to his wife, played by Maria Bello, and to the local sheriff.
No, I'm not in a witness program. Those men just have the wrong guy. They must have seen me on TV, and I guess I reminded them of this Johnny guy.
Joey.
Joey, somebody. Good Lord.
But what is the real truth? His wife begins to fear she's been married for 20 years to a man she doesn't really know.
Why don't you ask Tom about his older brother, Richie? Ask Tom about how he tried to rip my eye out with barbed wire. And ask him, Edie, how come he's so good at killing people?
As the situation turns deadly, Tom's son, played by Ashton Holmes, senses danger surrounding the family. And the movie, directed by David Cronenberg, asks hard questions about the nature of violence. Can it be left in the past? Can life move on, or is it sometimes necessary to protect what you love and value with violence? The movie is far more than a thriller and much deeper. It's about the fundamental nature of this man, and Viggo Mortensen's performance is scary as his character is forced back into the person he thought he had left behind. There's also a brief but incredible supporting performance by William Hurt. Thumbs up.
Yeah, it's one of those one-scene performances that could get an Oscar nomination for William Hurt. Thumbs up for me as well,
Yeah.
Roger. I think the key here is Viggo Mortensen's characterization of this guy. We believe him as that small-town Indiana family man, but he's got that edge to him where we believe that he also could be a killing machine. And you mentioned David Cronenberg, of course, who's done a lot of creepy, violent fare. This is his most mainstream effort yet, but he's got those Cronenberg touches of violence. So it doesn't glorify the violence. It's not gratuitous. It's sudden. It's shocking.
And it's part of the story.
It's absolutely
part of the story. You know, at the beginning, he does such a convincing job of showing this small town. It's almost like Jimmy Stewart could be behind the counter in that diner. I'm thinking, maybe Cronenberg has had a change of heart here. Maybe this is going to be his little Pleasantville comedy or something. But then when you think back, you realize that there are little harbingers of things to come, even in the quiet, peaceful scenes.
And also worth mentioning Maria Bello in a terrific performance as the wife and how she reacts to things as they develop.
It's a really good movie.
Absolutely. Okay, our next movie, Roll Bounce. And you know, sometimes a film just wins you over with its sheer exuberance and sweetness, even though the cliches are clogging up the screen like pop-up ads gone wild. Not that anyone would have heard of pop-up ads in 1978 Chicago, where this roller skating version of Saturday Night Fever is set. These kids are playing Atari, grooving to Kool in the Gang, and skating the summer away. Now, I think somebody needs to tell Bow Wow that Bow Wow is an even sillier moniker than Lil Bow Wow, but he's extremely likable as Xavier, leader of the Southside Garden Boys. Roll Bounce is played mostly for laughs, but there are a couple of emotionally powerful scenes as Xavier and his father cope with the loss of X's mother.
I know she was more than your mother. She was your best friend. And I forgot that. And I'm really ashamed of myself.
That's a wonderful performance by Shy McBride, who's so real that he's almost too good for this lightweight fare. However, it's really nice to see a positive film dominated by young black characters who don't even seem to be aware of a world of crime or poverty. Here the main romance is detoured by the difference between working class and middle class. But when you have a big skating tournament that leads to a one-on-one skate-off, you're in Zoolander territory. Still, I give Roll Bounce thumbs up for the cast, the energy, the music, and those pretty nifty skating scenes.
I give a thumbs up for exactly the same reason. I agree with you about Shy McBride. He is very strong in this movie and scenes that really play as genuine drama. And Bow Wow is likable and energetic and really carries the movie as the lead in a very good way. And he has a couple of girlfriends, one that's a best pal, the other one is really afraid to ask out. That all works. And I'll tell you what, you touched on something that really got to me too. The same people who made this movie were behind Barbershop and Beauty Shop and Men of Honor and Soul Food. And they are creating a world on the screen of African Americans who live in nice houses with front lawns, who drive cars, who have jobs, who don't do drugs, who don't carry guns, who aren't involved in crime, who don't use four-letter words, who don't smoke dope.
Isn't that something?
And you know, that's what most black people in America are like, and you would never find that out from the movies. And it's so refreshing to see these kids who are just American teenagers.
And even if it's a widower situation or a divorce, there's still a lot of love between the parents and the kids. And there's even really some funny dynamic when we see the parents and their little party that they have when they get together.
Now, of course, nobody's going to go to this movie because it's noble in its depiction of African American society. They're going to go for the reasons that we liked it, which is it happens to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, coming up, Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in Tim Burton's Corpse Bride.
Read Richard Roeper at suntimes.com and Roger Ebert at rogerebert.com.
Tim Burton's Corpse Bride is a surprisingly lovable and upbeat film given its macabre and grisly subject matter. It's an animated musical comedy starring Johnny Depp as the voice of its hero, Victor, whose rich but working-class parents arrange a marriage with a poor but aristocratic bride. Victor gets tongue-tied at the rehearsal.
Have you even remembered to bring the ring?
The ring? Yes, of course.
Dropping the ring!
Oh, he's dropped the ring!
This boy doesn't want to get married!
Disgrace!
Excuse me.
Victor escapes an embarrassment from the church, and while practicing his marriage vows in a nearby graveyard, he accidentally places the ring on what he thinks is a branch, but is in fact the skeletal finger of Corpse Bride, voiced by Helena Bonham Carter. She may be dead, but they're now married.
I am terribly sorry about what's happened to you, and I'd like to help, but I really need to get home.
This is your home now?
But I don't even know your name.
Well, that's a great way to start a marriage.
Shut up.
In a time when most feature-length cartoons use smoothly flowing computerized animation, it's fascinating here to see Tim Burton using the technique of stop-action animation, which he also used in The Nightmare Before Christmas. Three-dimensional models are used. They're moved slightly between each frame. And then I think computers are probably used to clean things up a little bit. The result is wonderfully weird and gives the movie an otherworldly flavor that works well with this story, in which, after all, both the groom and his intended bride and his corpse bride are all good-hearted people and deserve to be happy if they can only find a solution to their very strange dilemma. Thumbs up.
Well, I guess this isn't the first time somebody married a bride who turned out to be cold and dead on their wedding night. But that notwithstanding, Roger, I'm going to give this thumbs down.
Oh, no.
And a couple of problems I had with this movie. I agree with you. It's kind of fun that everybody's kind of likable because you expect it to be darker, especially coming from Tim Burton. But it just goes on for too long, even though I think it's only about 80 minutes. It feels like it should have been about 20 minutes, and they just keep going through the same things over and over again. The songs are forgettable.
Oh, the songs
I didn't
are
go
fun,
out.
fun.
Hum one of them for me right now.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, exactly, because you forgot about them as you walked out of the theater. So it's just sort of this pleasant, nice, okay,
Corpse
interesting.
Bride, why must I be Corpse Bride? I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's better than the songs in the movie. So it's okay. I like the touch where like the underground dead characters seem to have more life in them, and there's more color to the animation.
Characters like the worm that sounds like Peter Lorre.
I didn't care for the worm popping out of the eye, that kind of stuff.
Why not?
So I think it's just
I
okay.
guess maybe
catch it on DVD. Don't rush to the theater.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked you why you didn't care for the worm coming out of the eye, because I guess you had to see it in order to understand it. Coming up later in the show, one of my favorite films of the year so far, and next, Jodie Foster stars in Flightplan.
Do you know where my daughter is?
Miss Pratt, I'm sorry, but I don't think that she's here.
What are you talking about?
That was the departure gate in Berlin, and they say that they never checked Julia Pratt onto this plane.
I put her in the seat next to me, 26A.
The manifest lists 26A is unoccupied.
Jodie Foster once again plays a desperate mother trying to save her child in Flightplan. It's a little like the Julianne Moore movie, The Forgotten, crossed with Foster's own Panic Room. Except for the bookend scenes, the entire story takes place on the enormous two-tiered Alto Air E474 transatlantic flight from Berlin to New York. Foster plays Kyle. She's a recent widow, and she is so good, it's almost painful to watch her anxiety escalate as she realizes her 6-year-old daughter is missing. The ubiquitous, sleepy-eyed Peter Sarsgaard plays Gene Carson, the sympathetic air marshal who tries to calm down Kyle.
Gene Carson, are you hurt?
I just need to see the captain.
I understand. That's his call, not yours.
Sean Bean is the pilot who begins to doubt Kyle as the search yields nothing to support her story, and not a single passenger or crew member can recall seeing the little girl.
Miss Pratt, there are 425 passengers on this flight who are not receiving any attention at the moment because every one of my flight attendants are looking for a child that none of them believe was ever on board. If you think we could be doing more to meet your needs, then I suggest you take it up with customer service after we land.
Directed by Robert Schwenke, Flightplan has echoes of The Lady Vanishes and other Hitchcockian fare. And though the screenplay is pretty ingenious, it can't quite patch up all the holes in the plot. But I do think this is a solid thriller for our times, a movie that touches on a lot of post-9/11 fears, paranoid and otherwise. So, thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me, too. And although there may be holes in the plot, they don't occur to you at the time.
Yeah.
Coming out of the theater, you think back and you can spot some things that you might want to ask questions about. But during the movie, it seems like your questions are being answered.
Right.
And you know how I always complain about the idiot plot where all somebody has to do is say something and the whole thing is solved? And we're smarter than the characters?
Yeah.
In this movie, Jodie Foster is smarter than we are. She's one ahead. She's thinking ahead. She reads the situation. She adapts to the situation. She changes her response. She can't afford to be dismissed as a crazy woman. And her thinking in the situation is so fascinating. I mean, I think the screenplay is really ingenious in the way that it's smart enough to make us wonder, what's going on here?
And you have another film like Red Eye, where so much of the, in fact, these are never going to play as a double feature on any flight anywhere.
No, I don't think so.
But so much of the action set in the airplane, and the camera work is really clever and good, because you get that claustrophobic feeling when you need to, and they have the close-ups, but other times, I mean, the fact that they made this giant plane makes it nice for going up and down. And this is a film that sprinkles in little background dialogue sometimes where the other passengers on the plane say one or two things that kind of do answer some of those plot holes as well.
You know, and Jodie Foster is so good. This is a good thriller.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Our next movie is The Memory of a Killer. And it's a thriller, too, but it's also kind of a crime drama, more serious, built around one of the most fascinating performances of the year. Jan de Cler plays a professional hitman named Angelo, who was assigned to travel to Belgium and kill a man. He says he's retired. His boss says people like us never retire. Angelo has another problem. He knows that he's in the early stages of Alzheimer's. He carries out the first assignment and then discovers that the situation has become complicated and for him, in his condition, desperately challenging.
Vous m'apportez une portion de frites, s'il vous plaît?
Tout de suite, monsieur. Mais vous en avez déjà commandé?
Eh oui. Qu'est-ce que tu as?
Gilles, il vaut mieux que tu envoies quelqu'un d'autre.
The movie cuts back and forth between Angelo's story and the investigation of the Antwerp police, who find a link to child prostitution and to influential people high in the government. Angelo has always been a professional killer, but he knows one thing for sure. He won't kill a child.
Dit is voor onze afspraak.
Afspraak?
Krapul van straat te halen.
Lietje Kuipers, een kind van 12 jaar. Was dat ook Krapul?
Nee, dat was een schande. Maar niet mijn werk.
The movie, directed by Eric Van Looy, is one of those European thrillers like Insomnia that have Hollywood remake written all over them. The only puzzle is, what actor will they find to equal Jan de Cler's performance? The Memory of a Killer is in limited release. Thumbs up.
Well, it is a very strong performance, and I like the setup, but I'm giving it thumbs down. A couple of reasons. I thought it was too derivative of Heat and Memento and Seven and a lot of other movies. And also, Roger, we just saw this movie Keen recently. We talked about where the main character wasn't struggling with Alzheimer's. It was possible madness, and it was consistent in its treatment of that. And here I thought we didn't get enough of that. I would have liked to see more of an exploration of him descending into, losing his memory. And I thought it just sort of, when it was convenient for the plot to have Alzheimer's, he did, and when it wasn't, he can provide all these clever clues.
I don't think it's really that simple. I agree with Keen is a great movie, but I think that this Chanticleer, look at his face behind you on the screen. What a great face. It's like Anthony Quinn or something. I mean, his presence on the screen, his reality, his struggle with the situation, and the ingenuity of the plot all came together for me and really worked.
Yeah, not quite for me. I thought it got a little bit too conventional with the cop and the killer, who are, kindred souls and all that kind of thing. I'm not saying, I'm close on this.
Backdoor communications while they're chasing him.
Yeah, interesting.
Same time.
Close, but no, not quite. Okay, next is Oliver Twist, and I guess the first question I have is why? Why would Roman Polanski, one of the most innovative directors of the last half-century, want to adapt a story that has been told again and again and again? In this twist, Barney Clark plays Oliver as a saintly orphan who puckishly endures all manner of hardship.
Please, sir, I want some more.
Ben Kingsley hams it up as a bent-over, deeply creepy Fagin.
We're very glad to see you, Oliver. Barry Dodger, take off the sausages and let's make a space at the table for Oliver.
It doesn't take long for Oliver to learn the art of pickpocketing and deception. This is a nicely choreographed bit of business. Even a disappointing Roman Polanski film is miles beyond what most Hollywood hacks can achieve, but I have to go back to my original question. Was this necessary? Why make another Oliver Twist if you're just going to tell the story again? So again, I go with a mild thumbs down.
Thumbs up for me. There hasn't been a version of Oliver in quite some time, I think, that anybody has seen. And why did he make it? Because Polanski was left as an orphan and raised during and after World War II by strangers in hazardous situations in a big city, and can probably identify with Oliver Twist more than either one of us can.
Well, that's probably true, and I think he wanted to make a movie. This is a children's movie. I mean, you don't want small children to see it because most Dickens fare is a little more intense.
This is a children's movie.
Well, I think anybody 10, 11, 12 years old and up can see this film.
But I think it's also an adult film, and I think it deals very directly with some issues of guilt and repentance, and I think it's a beautiful film to look at. As usual, the central character is the least interesting person, as is often the case in a Dickens novel.
Well, that's true.
Where it's the supporting characters and the adults who act upon the protagonist who have most of the interest. And in this case, I think that Kingsley does a good job with Fagin, and throughout the movie, great performances. I recommend it.
And it's one of the scariest Bill Sykes we've ever seen on screen. I'll give you that. It just seems to me, again, Roger, I'm right on that fence, and I'm thinking, with so many movies out there, I'm comfortable with saying, wait for it to come out on video, catch it on DVD. You don't have to rush out and see this.
Okay, that's your opinion.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you letting me have my opinion.
I'll let you have your opinion. I won't even tell you what you can do with it. We'll be back to recap this week's show right after this.
You're the big hero. Sure took care of those two bad men.
Okay, recapping the movies on this week's show. 2 thumbs up for A History of Violence. 2 thumbs up for Roll Bounce. We split on Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. 2 thumbs up for Jodie Foster and Flight Plan. We split again on The Memory of a Killer, and we split again on Oliver Twist. He says, please, sir, may I have some more of the same story?
We'll be back with some exciting news about a terrific family film that's getting a second chance at life.
That's right.
Right after this. Duma is a movie by Carol Ballard, the same director who made Black Stallion, Never Cry Wolf, and Fly Away Home. And this movie tells the story of a young boy and his pet cheetah who make a trek across the desert in South Africa. We reviewed the movie last July. It was apparently going straight to video, but got a reprieve. It played in some Chicago theaters, did okay. Now Warner Brothers is giving it yet another chance. It opens on the 30th of September in 30 theaters in Los Angeles and 2 theaters in New York. We both recommend it highly. This is a chance for the audience to find this movie and rescue it at a time when movies of this quality for the entire family are hard to come by.
People are always talking about what can I take my kids to see, and kudos to the studio for at least giving it that chance and saying, all right, and let's hope the audience go and check it out. Same thing with Lord of War, Roger. I was a little disappointed by the box office performance for Nicolas Cage's film. It's so good and so darkly funny and touches on so many themes, and it's about a guy who becomes the world's biggest gun runner, and it's a fascinating film. Reminded me a little bit of Johnny Depp's movie Blow. It's got a little bit of Goodfellas in it. It's a really strong film.
So Lord of War would be a good movie to look for, and Duma if you're out there in the theaters this next week or two.
Exactly. Okay, next week we'll be back with reviews of Jessica Alba and Paul Walker in Into the Blue, and Shia LaBeouf in The Greatest Game Ever Played. Until then, the balcony is closed.
The Subaru 24-hour test drive. It's not your standard test drive. Then again, this isn't your standard SUV. The Subaru B9 Tribeca.
When you refinance at LendingTree.com, you can save up to $200 a month with a lower rate. Just think what you can do with the money. When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com.
Messes seem smaller with the Libman Wonder Mop. Large and absorbent, quick-drying strips. And thanks to the unique ringer sleeve, your hands never touch water. Libman, family made since 1896.
How do I deal with the pain of diabetes testing? I switched to Freestyle Flash, which uses the smallest drop of blood and is virtually pain-free. That I can deal with.
Freestyle Flash, virtually pain-free.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is brought to you by...
Come into Meineke for new brake pads or shoes. Now only $29.95.
Meineke Car Care Center. Right service, right price.